Before you guys watch this video, I just want to let you guys know that we have opened up a mobile game specific YouTube channel, and later today we will be uploading a video showcasing how you can get an awesome game in Bastion for free on iOS. More on that in the link in the description box down below. If you guys are into mobile stuff, check it out. We'll also upload some Switch related content. Subscribe, and we're uploading videos pretty consistently, so we would appreciate that. Now onto the video. In today's video, I want to go over the apparent revelation of a PlayStation 5 exclusive that many of us were expecting, but now it seems to be explicitly acknowledged. We'll talk all about that. PlayStation Now's November update has been detailed, and some pretty great games are going to be added. However, I still think it's going to need a little bit more to sell a lot of people on PlayStation Now. We'll talk all about that. Reborn: A Samurai Awakens launches today, and it's a brand new first-person shooting combat game. That game looks really cool, so I wanted to give a mention to that. And before we get into everything, I just want to remind you guys to make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification icon so you are always notified of uploads, and that definitely helps out the channel too, so we always appreciate that. We'll talk that at the end of this video. First up, a new Guerrilla Games job listing seems to explicitly acknowledge the existence of Horizon Zero Dawn 2. A number of newly published job listings from Guerrilla Games suggest the studio is indeed working on a sequel to its 2017 open-world action game Horizon Zero Dawn, with one vacancy in particular seemingly confirming the project's existence outright. The Amsterdam-based creator of the Killzone series recently posted a vacancy for a technical vegetation artist, which would focus on the creation of vegetation assets that are used to dress the game world. The listing explains that, quote, within Guerrilla, we have 4 teams dedicated to creating the stunning environments of Horizon, and 1 team focuses on the creation of lush and stunning vegetation. Alright, so that specifically notes creating the stunning environments of Horizon, so if they're creating the stunning environments of Horizon, that means another Horizon is in development. Now, I think a lot of us were expecting that Horizon 2 was in development, but it's entirely possible that the project is being targeted as a PlayStation 5 launch game when the next-gen console releases next year. Given that Horizon Zero Dawn has been out for quite a while, we're talking going back to early 2017, by the time the PlayStation 5 would be released, that would be 3.5 years, and that's a pretty significant window to develop a game. Now, we've seen that development cycles for a lot of these games have just gotten larger and larger. Uncharted 4 came out in early 2016. We're not going to be getting The Last of Us Part 2 until early 2020, or actually it's been pushed a little bit back, so mid-2020 is more like it. So it took a little over 4 years for Naughty Dog to cycle out another game. Look at Sucker Punch. They put out Infamous Second Son all the way back in 2014, and Ghost of Tsushima probably going to be out sometime in the latter portion of 2020. These games are getting longer and longer to develop for. In the case of Horizon Zero Dawn, they already have the fundamentals in place, considering they already did Horizon before. So I could imagine Horizon Zero Dawn 2 would be a little bit quicker than that 4 to 5 year time period that a lot of these other studios are taking. And I would like to see games being put out a little bit more regularly, but given the expectations and the astronomically high bar that PlayStation 4 exclusives have set for themselves, and PlayStation exclusives in general going into the release of the PS5, you want to deliver a high quality product, so I understand why these games are taking so long to be developed. Regardless, if you played through Horizon Zero Dawn, you know a lot was left up in the air, and there was definitely going to be a follow-up title at some point. I would just imagine that Horizon 2 is relatively far along, and Guerrilla Games will be priming to get that game out for the PlayStation 5 launch. Really, when you assess the situation, what other launch games could there be for the PS5? You want to get one marquee title out there, and every other studio is kind of busy. Naughty Dog's putting out their game. Sucker Punch, we already know about Ghost of Tsushima, but that's going to be a PlayStation 4 title. Could be a cross-gen game. I think it being a cross-gen title would take out some of the luster of it. So you want to get that ground-up developed for the PlayStation 5 exclusive out there on launch day, and I think Horizon Zero Dawn 2 would really be that game. Again, you just look at every other studio, and they're kind of preoccupied, or they've released games relatively recently. In the case of like a Sony Santa Monica, would it be awesome to get out God of War 2 right out the gate for the PS5? Yes, but God of War released back in early 2018. I don't think God of War 2, or whatever they decide to title that game, is going to be ready by the launch of the PS5. So you just have to assess everything that when I do think Horizon Zero Dawn 2 makes the most amount of sense. Probably going to be called Horizon 2. I think they're going to drop the Zero Dawn subtext for the next game's title, but whatever the case may be, the next Horizon title is seemingly in development. Alright, moving on from that, PlayStation Now has become a much more compelling subscription offering from Sony. Of course, they knocked the price down to $9.99 a month instead of $19.99. $19.99 was just way too expensive, and now they're offering some great games in November. 3 new titles joined the north of 800 PS2, PS3, and PS4 games already available, and they are some pretty notable games. Kicking things off, by far the biggest game that they're adding is Persona 5. Of course, easily one of the best JRPGs of all time, not hyperbole in all, in saying that some would argue it's the best JRPG of all time. Now, obviously, some of the luster of Persona 5 does dissipate given the fact that Persona 5 Royal is a thing and that'll be coming sometime later in 2020. Whatever the case may be, it is a great game, and if you've yet to play Persona 5 and you just want to start off with the base game, you don't want to drop the $50 or $60 that Persona 5 Royal will be released at, Persona 5 is an awesome game to play. Now, it was noted that the game is only going to be available for a limited duration, a 3-month window. It's going to be available to download and stream through February 4th, 2020. Kind of a bummer that they're going this route. I mean, Microsoft with Game Pass are just throwing on games, all of these exclusives, and we're going to be able to play that on Game Pass forever. In the case of PlayStation Now, a lot of these games are just having these short 3-month windows, which is a little bit of a bummer. Persona 5 is a great game though, so to see it being added is kind of exciting, and if this 3-month window keeps the cost down and it allows them to get more compelling offerings, I guess I can understand from that standpoint. Also, Middle-earth Shadow of War is being added, and it's gonna once again be available to stream and download through February 4th. Shadow of War is a fantastic game, great battle system here, a huge open world to explore, a ton of content, visuals are great, a great follow-up to Shadow of Mordor. Shadow of War did initially have some problems, but they remedied that rather quickly, and it has you go behind enemy lines to forge your army, conquer fortresses, and dominate Mordor from within. Experience how the award-winning Nemesis systems creates unique personal stories with every enemy and follower, and confront the full power of the Dark Lord Sauron and his ring wraiths. In the new epic story of Middle-earth, again, it's going to be available through February 4th, 2020, so once again, you're going to be given a short 3-month window to download and play the game. And lastly, you'll be able to descend into the world of Hollow Knight, the award-winning action-adventure of insects and heroes, explore twisting caverns, ancient cities, and deadly wastes, battle tainted creatures, and befriend bizarre bugs, uncover ancient history, and solve the mysteries buried at the kingdom's heart. Don't forget to check out last month's lineup of games as well, including God of War, Grand Theft Auto 5, Uncharted 4, and Infamous Second Son, each of which will be available to download or stream through January 2nd, 2020. Those aforementioned games also given a 3-month window. And I also want to note that Hollow Knight that's being added this month, that's going to be available for a longer duration, so that's not going to expire anytime soon. They also noted the top downloaded games and played games of October: Grand Theft Auto 5, God of War, Uncharted 4, Infamous Second Son, Rocket League, Fallout 4, NBA 2K18, WWE 2K18, Mortal Kombat X, Batman Arkham Knight, Mafia 3, and Farming Simulator 19. So there you have it, all of that. If you've yet to try out PlayStation Now, now's the perfect time to give it a spin with the 7-day free trial and the lower cost, so I wanted to give that a mention. Alright, and lastly, I want to give a shout to Reborn, a Samurai Awakens, which is launching November 5th. The July 2017 announced first-person shooting and combat game has been dated, and it will be coming today. Reborn, a Samurai Awakens is a first-person VR action-adventure that combines robots, samurais, and sword fights. The player themselves is a samurai that was resurrected by future technology to fight against robotic invaders. To complete the mission, the player must infiltrate the enemy base. With all the high-tech guns, lasers, samurai swords, can humanity be saved? In Reborn, a Samurai Awakens, the fast-paced sword fight scenes, high-tech weapon choice, and supernatural forces enable players to experience samurai-like valor. When an enemy attacks, the player blocking the attack can activate a time warp mechanism that kills the enemy with samurai power. As the story progresses, the player can customize weapons and equip different skills to fight through each stage. The player can only save humanity by mastering all samurai virtues. The game touts an open combat experience where players can wield different weapons and skills, epic and thrilling boss fights, timing and block on time, can perform a satisfying instant kill, get a rating of your performance based on hit points and remaining time, and they did upload a launch trailer that makes the game look quite good. If you do have the PlayStation VR headset, this is a game to definitely check out, and it will be coming at a relatively budget price point at $14.99. This one kind of came out of nowhere. We didn't get an insight on this from the drop that the PlayStation blog posts, usually highlighting all of the new game releases, and this is a pretty notable release that I think could be something to pick up for a lot of VR owners, so a little bit of a bummer that they didn't give this the highlight it deserves. Nonetheless, it's out today, and I did want to give that a mention, as it's definitely going to be going under the radar, especially with all of the other major releases this week. Death Stranding, Need for Speed Heat, really mostly Death Stranding. That's the game that the majority of attention is going to be on, so a game like Reborn, a Samurai Awakens really needs all the kind of promotion that it can get, but for VR owners, I do think it's going to be something captivating to check out. And that's going to conclude this video. Again, as far as the PlayStation 5 launch goes, a lot of speculation, but I do think Horizon 2, a follow-up to Guerrilla Games' 2016 2017 open world action RPG will be a title that drops. If they can get this and they can get a Demon's Souls remake for the PlayStation 5 launch, round that out with a bunch of third-party releases, whether that be a new Assassin's Creed, new games from EA, whatever the case may be, Call of Duty, all of those franchises, if you can get that all for launch, I think the PlayStation 5 is poised to have a really compelling launch lineup, and that is doubly important because I guarantee you guys that Microsoft is prepping up something major for the Xbox Scarlet launch. PlayStation now adding some great games with Persona 5, Middle-earth, Shadow of War, and Hollow Knight. In the case of Persona 5 and Middle-earth, Shadow of War, those will be available for 3 months until February 4th. Hollow Knight available for an unspecified period of time, but I would imagine a little bit longer than that. And Reborn: A Samurai Awakens will be launching November 5th. That's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.